I built towers for a living, the kind of glass that makes a city believe in itself. But the night my 6-year-old stood at the bottom of the stairs and whispered, "Daddy, don't go tonight," none of that mattered. I was halfway down tie-straight shoes shining, thinking about a dinner in Scottsdale with men who measure respect in commas and signatures. And there she was in her strawberry pajamas, curls stuck to her cheeks, small hands shaking around a stuffed bear with a crooked smile. "Zoe, what is it?" I asked, trying to keep my voice soft steady. She swallowed hard. "Please, just stay." From the kitchen, "Sabrina," my wife clicked across the tile perfume. "First patients last." "Victor, the planes are in from Chicago," she said, smile glued on eyes like ice. "We don't cancel on people who invest billions." I looked back at Zoe at the way she didn't blink. Numbers had never lied to me, but people had a way of smiling while they moved your chair out from under you. I told the driver to deliver the folder without me told the partners I'd review from home. Sabrina's lips thinned. My COO Cole texted a storm of exclamation marks. I made Coco put a cartoon on, told myself I'd be the calm in the house for once. The phone rang anyway. Mr. Hayes, Officer Ramirez with DPS, a careful voice said, "Sir, your car was involved in a collision on the Loop 101. Brake failure. Vehicle burned on impact. I'm sorry about your driver." The mug slid from my hand, Coco bleeding across the marble. I didn't feel the heat, just Zoe's arms around my neck, and the thought I couldn't push away if I'd gone. My little girl would be looking at smoke on the news. Morning felt like walking on glass. I held coffee I couldn't taste. Zoe pushed toast around her plate. Sabrina came in crisp navy dress, perfect hair, voice sharp enough to cut fruit. "We embarrassed ourselves last night," she said, never glancing at the child who kept me alive. "This can't happen again." "Say that again," I said, words heavier than the room. "She's 6 Vic. She wants attention. She manipulates enough." The word surprised me with its weight. Zoe flinched, then realized I wasn't angry at her. Sabrina placed her cup down so carefully the saucer didn't dare rattle. That was the tell when someone builds their whole life to avoid any noise that might reveal the truth. The day moved like wet cement. Every few minutes I'd look up from a contract and see the little bare nightlight Zoe had insisted I keep in my study. She called it the Stay Safe Bear, said, "It keeps bad things out." Cute. Until I caught the tiny lens under its belly. Camera. Huh. That afternoon, Zoe drifted into my office, feet whispering on the rug. She opened her mouth, closed. It opened it. Kids are brave in ways adults forget. Then she said, "Daddy, I'm scared you'll sign something that makes you go away." "Why do you think that?" Her eyes flicked to the door, to the hall, to the corners where grown-ups keep their secrets. "I just do." I didn't push. Later, she pressed the bear into my hands like it was a torch in a relay. "It watches," she whispered, "in case you can't." When she left, I turned the bear over, slid out the card, opened the file. My study appeared on screen, empty at first. Then the door breathed open and in came Sabrina, quiet, quick, like someone returning to a crime they've already rehearsed. She sat at my laptop, pulled a silver stick from her clutch, plugged in, started copying folders. Then she lifted her phone, voice low and clean. "Yes, I'm in. Tonight, if he signs, it's ours." It's funny what breaks you. Not the cheating I could have forgiven a body. Not even the theft I've rebuilt from dust. It was the plural. It's ours. Not we as a family. We as a partnership she'd formed with someone who wasn't me. You ever hear your pulse in your teeth? That's what rage sounds like when it finally drops the polite act. I called my attorney Mr. Levin. Man, wears the same gray suit like armor, keeps his feelings in a separate file. We looped in the police. We set the table literally. In the dining room, I had converted into a boardroom, long oak gleaming under the chandelier contracts stacked like a dare. By sunset, the house looked like money again. Cole stood by the fireplace, jaw-tight phone in his palm like a weapon. 3 investors in dark suits murmured near the window. Sabrina took the seat at my right hand, resting on my forearm like a claim. You learn to feel a lie in the temperature of a touch. Let's be efficient, Cole said, sliding a pen toward me, smile-tight eyes on the paper. Just signatures. Victor. Future secured. Future, I said, rolling the word on my tongue, tasting the metal in it. Whose Sabrina laughed light as glass. Ours, darling. I set the pen down, clicked the remote. The TV over the mantel came alive. My study the night before. The bear's eye view. Sabrina slipping in. The silver stick. Her voice. It's ours. The room went very still. The kind of still where you hear the lie dying between one breath and the next. Sabrina didn't blink. A child's camera. That's your evidence. No, your voice is. I turned to Cole. How long were you planning to call my company ours? His calm cracked in 1 second. Jaw twitched. Color climbed his neck. Fingers flexed like he was trying to grab the air back into his lungs. He's paranoid. He told the investors. Smile resurrected like a bad actor returning for an encore. Delays grief. A kid running his calendar. Gentlemen, you came for a deal, not bedtime stories. Say kid again, like she's a speed bump. I said, taking one step that made him take one back, and I'll show you how a bedtime story ends. Sabrina dropped the charm. You're weak, Vic. You let a little girl steer your life. Do you know what men like you become when they start caring more about feelings than numbers? Broke. Zoe had been standing in the doorway, bear tucked under her arm, eyes big but unafraid. She didn't shout. She just said, "He's not weak. He listens." You'd be surprised how fast a sentence like that can bloom in a room full of men who forgot how. The front door opened 2 officers, calm, professional, and Levin with his gray suit and thicker folder. We handed over the copy of the video, the file logs, the metadata. Words like conspiracy, fraud, theft sit heavy and legal until cuffs translate them to sound. Cole jerked when the officer touched his wrist. Sabrina tried to step away, voice going high, brittle, every word a shard. You'll regret this. Do you hear me? You will regret crossing. What I regret, I said finally, tired, finally done, is not listening to Zoe. The first time she said, "Don't go." The investors had gone, very quiet men who buy and sell risk for breakfast and call it eggs. One of them cleared his throat and said almost kindly, "Integrity outlives any quarter, Mr. Hayes." I don't know if he meant it or if he just liked how it sounded in a room where the math changed, but I held the line. I watched them leave. I watched the door close on the worst theater I've ever staged inside my own house. The next morning, the mansion sounded different. No heels, no staged laughter, no voice correcting a maid for breathing wrong. I took Zoe to the park I always drove past on my way to somewhere important. She flew on the swing sneakers, flashing hair wild in the sun, laughing with her whole chest like the day had no sharp edges. "Higher, Daddy," she said, and for once I didn't think about liability or optics. I just pushed. "Are you sad?" she asked later, head on my shoulder on the porch, desert light turning everything honest. "A little," I said. "When someone you love betrays you, it makes you wonder if you missed the signs, or if you just didn't want to see them." She squeezed my hand. "You wanted to believe good things. That's not wrong. Maybe it isn't." That night I fed the unsigned contracts to the fireplace and watched the flames chew through the clauses that would have put my name on a deal built on rot. Paper burns fast, faster than a life, but the ash looks the same whether it's 1 page or 1,000. I kept the bear on my desk. not as a camera anymore, as a reminder. Light in the dark, even when it's 6 inches tall and covered in fuzz. People tell me I blew up an empire to save a bedtime story. They say I should have signed first, cleaned house later, that men like me don't cry over drivers with families and kids with nightmares. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're just loud. Here's what I know. The night I listened to a voice that didn't come from a boardroom, I stayed alive. The day I chose my daughter over a deal, I finally became the kind of father worth that word. Now it's your turn to talk. Was I right to nuke the deal on a feeling and a child's warning? Or should business stay business no matter what? Have you ever watched someone smile while they stole from you? Do we teach kids to be brave and then ignore them when they are? Drop your take in the comments. Tell me where you've seen power outrun justice, or where love finally caught up and made it stop.